This is Trophy Gold, A Tower Darkly, part 2 of a planned 2 sessions. So there might be a 3rd session, so just stand by for that. We are down a player, but fortunately, you are all crawling around in some twisty tunnels, and we can easily explain away the character's absence, I think. I'm not too worried about that. The last thing we saw was all of you were going down into this subterranean layer of something called Naughty Ebart that was revealed right at the end. And you are trying to find the equipment of this librarian at the Waypoint ruins, or the way station ruins, at the ruins of this, at the way station ruins, Nimrak the librarian. You're trying to find his stuff, and he's promised a payment if you can find it. But also, I want to kind of point out something that came up in our little localized lore last time that I think is worth emphasizing before we begin. The first is that there are actually 2 eras of children going missing. There are the kids that are missing right now. That's who you're all presumably going to be paid to figure out what happened to them. But also, we learned last week that there have historically been children disappearing from Rasten. And so I think it's important to keep those 2 things in your head as far as like interpreting what's going on here. And yeah, so everybody went down into the tunnel. In the lead was Alicia's character, Kiva. And the old woman, who is a heretical priestess of Saint Evelyn the White, she confronted Wodum at the end. Wodum was last to go in, and basically said something like, Naughty Ebart will make toys of you, right? And Wodum was going to cast the binding ritual to bind her in place. And so I think I want to pick up with that straight away.
Yeah, that's where we were. Now I remember.
Yeah, I'll get us all there.
Yeah.
Before we finish recapping, though, I do want to go back over burdens and gold and things, because you do have to meet your burdens and gold. So let's talk about that. Wodum, you have 3 burdens. You currently have no gold in cash, but you do have the pelts, which are worth 1 gold. You have 1 hunt roll token and 3 ruin. Kiva, you have 3 burdens, no gold in cash, but you do have a knife with a St. Evelyn's symbol worth 1 gold. You have 0 tokens and 2 ruin. Sarah's not with us, but we'll go over to Parda. Parda, you have 4 burdens, 0 gold in cash, so you have, actually you have 1 gold in cash. You don't have to note pouch of silver and found equipment. That can go straight to the cash thing. You have 1 gold in cash, no tokens, and 3 ruin. And so let's start with that risk roll. So let's remind how the risk roll works. Everyone but Judd gets to say what could go wrong here if Wodum fails to bind this alleged witch priestess of Saint Evelyn, a heretical sect of Saint Evelyn the White. Thoughts?
Maybe she'll capture him.
That's interesting. Yeah, I like a variation of that where she will make a toy of Wodum, which would be really thematically on point, I feel like, for what's happened in the last session or so. Ben, any thoughts?
What if she is bound to Wodum?
Oh, that's
like
intriguing.
He can't escape her.
Oh, they're like mutually bound. Interesting. Let's talk about dice Wodum. So you get 1 light die if you have a skill, a piece of equipment, or otherwise taking advantage of the environment or situation in a particular way. What do you think?
I mean, other than the ritual itself, my skills are strength, persistence, destruction, and mimicry. I don't.
Maybe strength. How does the
maybe
binding,
strength.
How does the binding work? What is it? What's the mechanics of it?
Yeah, I think. It's kind of like shadow puppetry, and I kind of lean so my shadow is near hers, and then I make a shadow as if I'm holding a spike, and I drive that shadow spike into her shadow, and that's what binds her there.
I'll take strength then. I think that's good. So you've got 1 light die for strength, and now Alicia, Ben, and myself can each make an offer of a devil's bargain, something that will happen no matter what, whether you succeed or fail. If you accept the devil's bargain, you get another light die for your pool. And I have a thought, but I want to hear the others first.
Whatever happens, your shadow is going to rebel against you.
Oh, nice.
That's also very like Pinocchio, right? Like it's pretty good.
I was also gonna go with a Pinocchio and say that you get turned into a real boy.
Oh no. I like I think this, I'm gonna say no matter what. I'm gonna go something less fanciful, though I like those 2 options. I'm gonna say no matter what, she tells you something you don't want to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not ready to be a real boy yet. I think I'm gonna go with the she tells me something I don't want to hear, which I think is, I'm also kind of curious what that is now. So it gets me. So is that 1 light and 1 dark?
You have 2 light because you get 1 light for strength, 1 light for the devil's bargain,
Got
and
it.
dark for the ritual. So 2, 1. And it's risk 2, 1 in the die roller.
Got it. So risk and then 2/1.
Yeah, risk space or /risk space 2 space 1.
Got it. 2/1. Let's see. Right.
Oh, you didn't get the dark die in there though. It says it's /risk and then 2, 1. There's no other slash.
Got it. Risk 2 space 1.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. Okay.
Got
so
it.
You got a 5 dark, which is higher than your current ruin. So your
Right.
ruin goes up by 1. You're successful, but there is a complication. I think the complication is that you're going to be delayed going down into the tunnel. If
Cool.
you're okay with that, you can keep it. Otherwise, and I think you have to stop because dark is highest. So that is the result.
Yep. I'm good with that.
We'll talk about how ruin goes up in a moment, but let's have give me the fiction of the ritual. What's it look like?
Yeah, I think I take notice of where the light is coming from so that I can lean my shadow closer to hers, and it just takes her. I mean, she probably knows this ritual and knows what I'm about to do if she had noticed it. But I think she I think very often people might not expect it from a mannequin. And so I drive the shadow spike in. And I don't know if it hurts, but I think it's deeply uncomfortable. And then I kind of let go and almost like, you're getting away from, like, you're setting a bomb or something. You kind of get away and get your shadow away from them, so that they can't retaliate in some arcane way. And just like lean so that my shadow is going in the other direction, so that it's just nowhere near the witch. And then I think I'll just get very still and just I think when Wodoom, this is not like the greatest play affectation, but I think when Wodoom is worried about something or is kind of hunting something or is watching something intently, just gets like very inanimately still, and just gets very still and watches to see how she's going to try to struggle out of that.
That's good. She doesn't struggle. She says, despite the fact I'm held to this place, and despite the fact you are feigning being frozen yourself, you can hear me, and I can hear you. I have so many things to tell you, mannequin. Things to tell you about naughty Ebart, yes. But more importantly, I have things to tell you about the age of occlusion of Saint Evelyn the White, and something very few people know. the true history. Saint Evelyn the White had a small army of people just like you. We'll cut away for a moment.
Nice.
Down in the hole, we have a sickle. Locate Naughty Ebert's toys. You can, of course, spend 3 tokens to locate them immediately, or you can search around and try to find them. You're in the lead, Kiva. Parta, you're right behind. Presumably, Massaro is down there as well, but Massaro is going to quickly get divided from the group. As I noted last time, there's like about a 10-foot drop down, and then it goes into a tunnel. The tunnel is actually fairly big. You have to stoop to navigate it. But you don't have to crawl. You can stay on your feet for most of it. And also last time you noted that you all were going to tie off a twine so that you can find your way back, which I think is very smart. So, Kiva, you have layers as a skill, so you are in the lead, and I think navigating the tunnel probably will start as a hunt roll, and it might be a risk roll if the circumstances change. But just kind of in the fiction, what's your first move here?
I think that I would look to see if one path looks more used than the other, or if there's different like footprints. I feel like there might be like one way to entice like people down there and like one way that the creature actually uses. So I would be trying to sense that out.
Nice. Make a hunt roll with 2 dice.
Wow.
Wow, 2 6 lights. You don't get anything special for boxcars, but you do get a token. And yeah, it's working. You are finding tracks. They are interesting though, because you can tell that it's like the tracks of something because of the way the dirt is disturbed. But I will tell you that the tracks change from time to time. Sometimes the tracks seem like a pair of small boots. Sometimes they seem like a pair of feet. Sometimes they seem like little hands and feet, multiples. Sometimes they seem like a pile of hands and feet and boots. In any case, you're making good progress. Parta, what are you doing in the meantime?
I think he'll be following probably a little closer than might be immediately comfortable, and watching the footprints carefully. Would his skill in transformation lead to any particular knowledge?
Yeah, I think so. You definitely have a strong connection to the question of what is natural and what are the possibilities and boundaries of it, right? Make a 2-die hunt roll.
A 3.
Down one tunnel, you've managed to lose track of Massaro for starters. And because even though you have a torch, it's still fairly dark down there. And the tunnels do branch off in different directions. Down one of the tunnels, you hear what sounds like a group of children playing in a park. They're singing like a jumping rope song, or like a child's song, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, but not that. Singing a little song, laughing. And then to your right, you hear scratching in the dirt, scratching in the darkness. What do you do?
He'll put a hand on Kiva's shoulder and just tilt his head toward the the children's laughter and say, that way, I hear them.
Kiva, what do you do?
Yeah, I'll follow Parta's instruction. I feel like I have no reason not to trust.
Kiva, just at the edge of the torchlight, barely illuminated, there is a girl. Her face is caked with dirt. Her hair is matted and clumped. And she's wearing a dress that was probably very pretty, but is now quite filthy. And you only see her arms and head. The rest of her is occluded in darkness. And she looks at you just at the edge of your torchlight, and she smiles, and she lifts her little hand and beckons you to come closer. What do you do?
I am going to just put my hand on that maybe magical knife. Well, I think we know it's magical, but I don't know what it does yet, that I picked up and advance, but like not like threateningly, just have my hand on it and advance slowly.
Come back to that. So, Bodum, she has promised to tell you things about the mannequins.
Yeah.
These would be ancient mannequins, right?
Yeah. I think he pipes up right away and says, is it the remnant of that army who are under siege in Tyrolus?
She says, during the age of occlusion, people suffered terribly. Wars, famine, disease. The followers of Saint Evelyn, the true Saint Evelyn, believed it was a mercy to release people from that terrible world. Why should they suffer? Why should the common people suffer for the disagreements and travails of those in power? And as she became ever more zealous in her sacred work, even her own followers could no longer do the task. And so they created a squad of porcelain-faced mannequins to go into the homes of the ill and the destitute and end their suffering. Their holy remit fulfilled at the end of a wooden hand.
Yeah, I think I will use my mimicry, and my response to her is using her voice to say, I have to stall it until I can get free. I'll drip it details. I'll just drip it details until I can get free of this shadow spike. It's not very smart. Yeah. I'm saying that like out loud in her voice, like, as if I'm like narrating her internal monologue.
She says, you are certainly a clever one. They have made great strides in the creation of your kind, the sorcerers. She says, I must confess, the priestess confesses to you, mannequin, I have not been able to fulfill my divine task. I was not able to put Ebert out of his misery, and now your colleagues are going to suffer from my choices.
No, they won't. And I kind of stick my head in the hole, and as loud as I can with her voice, I say, Ebert, Lovely Bart, I have a toy for you. I have a shiny new toy for you. Come out and get it. You have to reach me. You have to catch me.
I love it. That's good. As soon as this is said, Kiva, 2 more pairs of small hands and arms reach out from the darkness behind the girl and grab her and pull her fully into the darkness. And you hear the sound of something scuttling away in the dark, perhaps responding to the voice you just heard, which sounded like the priestess. What do you do?
So I'm gonna sort of like turn to Parta and say, "Are you sure this is the way?"
I heard children.
Well, I mean, yeah, I saw them, but it seems sketchy.
This whole thing seems sketchy.
Should we keep going? Where's Woe Doom?
Hopefully he
And
found
Massaro, for
Massaro.
that matter.
Yeah.
I think Parta is going to put on his wooden mask and activate his scent ritual, I think.
Interesting. What does the scent ritual do?
It allows him to use his olfactory sense to navigate in complete darkness.
Oh, I like
Hopefully
it.
move a little faster.
If you do that, as the stakes for a risk roll, that you find at least the heart of the lair. And if that's what you're attempting. What could go wrong, Judd, Alicia, if this goes poorly?
I think that you'll take us right into the mouth of Naughty Ebert rather than the heart of the lair.
Yeah, I think a slight alternate to that is that Ebart gets your scent. Is something that could go wrong.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. Those are both good. I'll probably go in one of those directions. Some combination of the two if you fail. Dice, do you have a relevant skill or piece of equipment?
Hunting.
Very good. And Devil's Bargains. I'm going to say that, let me take a look at your drive, see if there's any curiosity there. I'm not quite sure how to work that in yet. I'm going to keep mine simple. Just in your haste, you drop something.
You're supposed to be a cured beast bitten, right?
Yes.
What if an encounter with Naughty Ebert unleashes the beast in some way?
Ooh, nice.
I like that.
Mine is that you realize that Naughty Ebart is is a kin beast bitten that has been twisted in some way.
I really like that one. Ebert is a beast bitten. I'll take it.
Intriguing indeed. I like it as well. And 2 light dice for now. I don't think this is automatically a dark die yet. Oh no, you're doing a risk, you have to, because it's or you're doing a ritual, you have to. So.
Yes. All right.
Nice, 6 light. You will successfully navigate to the heart of the lair. What is the smell like?
Years of accumulated child grime, like just the special kind of dirty that kids that play out in mud get.
That won't take long at all either. Have you ever smelled a 10-year-old? They're fucking revolting. Like, just completely disgusting. You get to the heart of the lair. And it's big. It kind of opens up, the tunnel opens up into a large cavernous space. And you see collected in the center of it what are Naughty Ebart's toys, treasures. You definitely notice a glint of silver, among other things. I'll let you get to that in a moment. In the meantime, Wood Doom, the priestess says, I can hear him coming. And Wood Doom, you are met by, in the hole, the darkness of the hole, illuminated just a little bit by moonlight. You see a group of children rising up out of the hole. Not climbing up, rising up. A girl, several boys, and they have blank expressions in their face. Their mouths are slack-jawed, and their hands are just grabbing.
So creepy.
What do you do?
So when I knew I did this, I leaned up against a tree as if I was inanimate, so that I realized quickly that she's going to say, "Oh, I have a toy. It's right there. It's that little moving man." And so I'm waiting for him to either bring me to where he stashes his toys, or to pick me up, and I'm trying to like gauge some kind of a weakness, and I'm just going to act inanimate and just stay very still and
I love it.
and use my patience.
I don't need a
Yeah.
risk roll. That's good.
Yeah.
The children rise up out of the hole, and you
Resistance.
realize that the children are fused together. And indeed, Naughty Ebart begins forcing his way out of the hole. You can't even see Naughty Ebart. All you see is the vague humanoid-shaped mass of dozens of children fused, grafted to each other, to whatever Ebart is. Arms made of toddlers and adolescents, legs made of dozens of small legs, a head and face that is like a children's choir, laughing and singing. The priestess says, the long missing children of Rasten. What do you do? What do?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to take this thing on alone. So I am staying very still, and
An arm made
yeah.
of a dozen mewling children. They all cry out at once, gimme, 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 as their hands reach out and grab you, and you are pulled into the fullness of this thing as the children rub their little hands on your wood, pat you on the head. Some of the girls make little like baby, like, oh, baby noises.
Yeah.
And they take you down into the hole.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kiva and Parta, if it was time for a break, that'd be a great place to take a break, but it's not quite yet. Kiva and Parta. The treasures. You do find what appears to be Nemrek's personal items. Knowing what you know about Nemrek, how do you know it's his stuff?
I think the every single book has like an ex libris on the side, but it's all from different people, different libraries, and all clearly stolen.
I love it. Anything to add, Alicia?
I'm trying to remember. He was a little bit like a large hat and stuff.
He was kind of fancy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of a,
yeah. So I feel like the bag of his personal belongings is not the bag of like an adventurer who hits the road. It's much too
Like
fancy.
tea sets or something. Yeah. He's a traveling gentleman librarian. Good. You find his stuff. You also find enough scattered coin, quite a lot, collected over the years, equal to a whopping 3 gold, as well as a jade lioness figure cradling a human infant, little figurine of a jade lioness cradling a baby, like the Pietà, but a jade lion. And 2 very marvelous things. One, a little miniature house, finely carved of wood. It seems that Naughty Ebart's taken exceptionally good care of it down here because it has kind of pride of place in the lair, up on a little ledge. But it's beautifully detailed. It would probably fetch at least 2, maybe even 3 gold from the right buyer. And also what appears to be a bronze beehive. The bronze beehive has what appears to be like a latch mechanism. Pardo, what do you do?
I think he'll collect the coins first off and give one to Kiva and say the third's from Sarah if we find him.
Yeah, well, so it's a lot of coins, right? It's just 3 gold in abstract terms. And then you have the jade lioness figurine and the house and the beehive. The beehive and the jade lioness figurine can be put with your stuff. The house is actually kind of big and would be difficult to carry around. You'd have to go secure it somewhere.
First thing he'd do, I think, is check out the beehive and put his ear to it. See if it's
It makes sense.
occupied. Okay. Then he'll flick the latch and try to open it slow.
Yeah, inside there is, it opens up and indeed sort of unfolds to be, I have a description here, let me find out. This is all from Trophy Loom, by the way, in case anyone cares. Just do code F, that'll be easier. It's a bronze container molded from a beehive. It unfolds into an intricate game board of hexagons and silver pawns. It is worth 2 gold. And the jade lioness is worth 1 gold when it comes time to divvy all this up.
Pardo will kind of scoff at it and say useless, but then put it in his bag.
Now let's talk about the problem. This is a fine score and a fine reward. Regrettably, Naughty Ebart returns, and you see Naughty Ebart as I have described him. This mass of children stuck, grafted, fused onto to make a vaguely humanoid shape. You actually hear them before you see them. They're squabbling over Woe Doom, though you don't know what they're squabbling over. But you hear things like, no, it's my turn, it's my turn, no, it's my turn. And when this abomination finally enters into the large chamber, you see Woe Doom inside of it, like the driver of a fleshy child mech stomping into the center of the cavern. They deposit Woe Doom, but then when they see you messing with the treasures, they get very angry indeed. And they lurch forward for combat. It's a tough fight. Endurance 11, but there are 3 of you. You could probably handle it.
Do we
And-
see any part of it that might be Abarth and not the children?
Make a hunt roll.
Any help from hunting or transformation?
Transformation sounds good because it's, yeah, I think that works.
3.
I'll just tell you the truth of it. You can see that whatever Abarth is now, he used to be a beast-bitten porcupine. And the original children were probably speared on his quills. But then something horrible and magic has been happening ever since.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, so they're not wasting any time. It's combat. If you're all participating, please state how you are vulnerable and roll your weak point.
Just pulling up the gold rules for ranged combat. If I take some shots with my crossbow, I can't participate in the melee, right?
Correct. You have to stay back and take the shots. What kind of, you have a crossbow, right?
Yes.
So you have 3 ammunition marks. Doesn't mean you have more than 3 arrows, but just abstract, you have 3 ammunition marks. You have to just say how many of them you're gonna, basically how many, between 1 and 3, how many dice you're rolling to take the shots.
I think I'll do 2.
So go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll risk 2 just to get dice on the table, and whatever you roll, the highest counts for the combat roll. Hey, you got a 6. Look at that. And so that's awesome. So you all, so it's just Kiva and Woe Doom in the fight, but you're going in with a 6, which is good. And so, yeah, it's a combat too. Please, but first, please say how you're vulnerable and roll your weak point.
I'm vulnerable because I'm in the damn thing's hands. I mean, I'm right there. I'm like right in its grip. I mean, I don't know how I could be really more vulnerable, but yeah.
Fair enough. Roll weak point. It's just /weak.
Whoop, sorry. Weak. Oh, got it.
Okay, so 4 is your weak point. And Kiva, how are you vulnerable?
I feel like I'm distracted. Like the surgery and forensic part of me is like fascinated by what this
What's happening
monstrosity
here?
is.
Yeah, that's good. Roll weak. Okay, 3. So we got 4 and 3. And that's awesome. And I can't remember how the range rules work off the top of my head. Does that 3 in your result mean you lose an ammo, Parda?
I
think so. I want to say that's how I want to say that's what happens. We'll resolve it later though. We'll figure it out. In any case, combat 2. Woe Doom, since you brought this to the group, why don't you go ahead and roll combat 2?
It's a mistake. Maybe.
Hey, it's with the 6 that you're getting from the range shots, that's 11. So because you got 2 5s and no weak point either. So good fight all around. Kick it off, Parda. How does it start?
I think almost as soon as he has time to process what he's seeing, he Parda pulls out his crossbow and takes a step back and just fires one shot after the other, and hopefully weakening it for his partners.
Indeed. Woe Doom, keep the fight going. What's happening?
Yeah, I think as Ebart like is lashing out with me in their damned hands, I think I'm kind of spinning with the shackles out, and I'm using their momentum to kind of, you know, they might even think they were hitting themselves until they really realize that like I'm spinning of my own accord and it's not their momentum. But I think that's like I'm just spinning without any, and I think because I'm in this creature's hand, I don't have to worry about hitting my friends.
And I think as you spin, just to make this particularly gruesome, because why not?
Yeah.
As you spin, you're like dislodging kids. They're like being ripped off the corpus and slung.
Right.
Yeah, they die instantly upon being unattached, but they were already lost creatures, so don't sweat that too much. Kiva, finish off this thing.
I think that I have the goal to essentially like free Wodoom in the process. So I come in, blade is swinging to like slice the hands off so that Wodoom will get dropped.
And then deliver the killing blow. What does that look like? Because you can deliver the killing blow to the beast bitten beneath, I guess.
I guess, yeah, I'll like do like a 1 slash of like hands chopped off, Wodoom goes down, and then I just want to like stab upwards towards its eyes. I don't know what, oh, I said I was small, that's why it's taller than me. Everyone's taller than me. So I feel like I'm gonna stab upwards into its eyes.
When it's all said and done, what's left is a pile of grafted husks of children and a horrifying porcupine thing underneath them, also quite dead. And yet it is one of your former people, Parda. Do you offer it any kindness or consolation in its dying moments?
Under other circumstances, maybe, but I think maybe Parda will look down at the corpse and take his mask off finally, and then just see if it has pockets.
Indeed. Let's get the gold roll on the table, because there are things you can salvage from the creature, possibly. Parda, go ahead and roll gold 11. Nice, you'll get 2 golds worth of stuff. We can just, you can define that however you want. Either something from the beast bitten, or maybe it just had money or something. Things that the kids had grabbed over the years. And this is a good score, despite the horror of it. Let's take a 5-minute break. We'll come back.
Cool. Yep.
Okay, we're back. A little bit of housekeeping before we continue on. First of all, where's all this treasure going? We've got 3 gold worth of coin. We've got 2 gold worth of something from the monster. And then we have the Jade Lioness figurine, we have the board game, and we have the house. Now the house, I'll remind you, you're gonna have to make special provision for the house. You can't just carry that around. So what do we all think about that stuff? Think on that for a moment. The other thing of housekeeping is I kind of want to check in with each of the characters in terms of how they're feeling right now, having just slain this creature. This like pile of dead kids at your feet, they're not even the dead kids you're here to find. These are like some other dead kids from history. And so how's everyone feeling right now? And I'm really particularly interested in Parda because of the beast bitten, and Wodoom because of the way Wodoom was literally like kind of made into a toy for these things for a moment. How's everyone feeling?
I think Parda is feeling, I mean, beast bitten are just people when it comes to it. Some are better than others. And so I don't think he's feeling particularly like this speaks to beast bitten as a whole, but I think seeing a beast bitten fall so far and become so monstrous reminds him of the tenuousness of his own humanity. And he's also thinking, how can I tie this back to the Duke?
Very good, very good. Think that's right, because you have a special side deal going with Winifred. Very interesting. Take the condition shaken. And let me check in with Kiva. Kiva, how are you feeling right now at the end of this?
I feel like I'm very nonchalant about it. I feel like this amount of dead children should be like probably more upsetting than it is. And I'm just like picking through their bodies, picking up the treasure, doing my thing. Just like it's not a big deal. Almost like I don't care.
They're also rapidly decomposing. Like they're rapidly basically becoming like slurries of black blood and bone.
In that case, I'm like super interested in the science aspect of it.
Very good.
Maybe like picking up some slurry, because you never know when that's going to be useful.
Indeed, indeed. Whoa, Doom?
Yeah, Woad is as terrified as they've ever been. They thought they were either going to die, which was the better option, or end up a toy for a monster child horde. And I couldn't figure out which was worse. And so I think Woad is kind of keyed up and like going around to Parda and Alish and Kiva and like with the voice of their creator, who was like a weapons instructor, being like, and kind of like awkwardly like touching your sword coach might like hit your shoulder pad, but like he doesn't want to hurt anyone. So it's like this really awkward shoulder touch where he's like, good, and he's speaking in the instructor's voice, and it's like, good shot, lad. And then like goes to Kiva and is like, great way to stay in there. But it's like, it's not his voice, but he's like, he's just frazzled. And he also is very excited that like these people, defeated this thing with him, and he's not a toy for a monster. Anyway, that's what he's doing. He has not have composure at the moment. He's mimicking someone else, which you might not even know he can do, and like mimicking very weird human like affection gestures.
Would it be
for
fair to say
battle.
that would a condition something like in denial be appropriate? Like, are you coping in a
Yeah.
way?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think that's like also like tracking back to when I lost my ruin earlier, or
Yeah, I
gained
think
a
it's all
ruin.
connected, right?
It's
Yeah.
all connected. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to say, Parda, I looked up the ranged combat beta rules, and indeed for the 3 you have to mark one of your ammo slots. So
Yep, done.
And that was a great use of the ranged combat, though. I almost didn't give it to you because like the only reason why I gave it to you is because you knew there was a beast-bitten creature underneath all of it. So you had something to aim for. If you were just aiming at like random kids, it wasn't going to do enough. So
Fair.
Okay, very good. What about this treasure? Where's it all going? It's a lot. I mean, I think it probably clears probably everyone's burdens pretty close to, or meets them.
Parda's gonna hold on to that beehive game.
Very good. That's worth 3 gold.
I can pick up the little jade lioness thing because that's intriguing.
That's worth 1 gold.
And what else is left? I'm sorry.
The dollhouse, just enough coinage worth 3 gold. And then you also got 2 gold of spoor from the creature as well, but you'll have to define that in order to claim it. You also get to name this kind of creature as well for the bestiary at some point.
Oh, nice. I think Wodoom will grab 2 gold that were like with the kids, and then for the 3rd gold, it'll be a porcupine quill, right? That
Oh,
one of the
nice.
kids
Good.
was on.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's good. Is there anything else to sort out treasure-wise? What about this house? This little like dollhouse?
Is it like I'm intrigued by the dollhouse. Is it like open like a regular dollhouse? Like, can you like?
Yeah,
put
it can be opened up. Yeah, it can be opened up, and you can put furniture and things in it.
Okay, I would like the dollhouse if no one minds, because I want a home for my rats.
The problem is just transporting it. You either have to like keep it here, let Nemrak hold on to it, take it back to the village. You got to do something with it. You can't like carry it around while you're adventuring. So
Yeah, I mean, we can ask Nemrak to hold on to it, I guess, when we deliver. Are we bringing him his stuff if we're doing that?
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, you're owed payment when you bring his stuff, and you've demanded coin rather than knowledge that she was going to give you. We can fast forward a little bit. As you're coming out of the pit, it's very, very deep in the night at this point. Is the binding still active, Wood?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think when we
Priestess
come
is
out.
there. She's standing there, white in the moonlight. And she says, I do not hear the laughter and arguing of the children anymore.
We did what you could not. What do you think is fair for you to owe us after having done your chores?
She says, go forward with the blessings of Saint Evelyn the White.
If I had eyes, I would roll them.
Well, she's here. Can I ask her about my little knife that I picked up?
Yeah, she says, well, what do you ask her?
I think I just want to be like, can I keep this?
She says, you have no quarrel from me if you keep my sister's blade, so long as you put it to its intended purpose, which is to end the lives of those who suffer. The blade will always strike true at the heart of those in pain, of those too frail for this world.
I'm just trying to be like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And then I'll like stick it down my pants.
I thought you were going to stab her. I was like, wow, you're really saying that in a just jolly way. Holy shit, that's some cold ass shit. Kiva. Stick it down your pants. Got it. Yeah, okay.
Indeed.
Let
me get you the hex map. You might need that. Gotta find it now.
Yeah, I think Woad releases the shadow spike. He can't leave someone like that, even if they're problematic.
She says, I am merely fulfilling my religious mandate, that which I have been called to do. I fear that the people of Rasten will soon require my saint's services, though I am far too old and without help in order to accomplish it. Perhaps if you fail in your task of finding their next generation, nature will send Rasten to its grave.
I think Parda will kind of step a little closer to her and say quietly, and what of me? You spoke of knowing me.
Yes, yes. Of course, I speaking more generally, I know of people like you. Many people cannot live with the beast-bitten curse, and so they seek the true followers of Saint Evelyn to be released from it. I have drawn my blade across many beast-bitten necks. I am happy to do the same for you.
He's right here. He can hear you. Why?
She's not the first to say such things. She won't be the last. And I shall dismiss them all.
She leaves. You can return to Nemrak. He will pay you a bounty of 1 gold for his stuff and thank you profusely. He will watch your dollhouse. He says, I will probably be here all night studying these runes. Did you know that old Kalduri way stations, and indeed many old Kalduri structures, they actually contained secret pigments that glowed during moonlight? You might think it absolutely foolish that I'm here not getting any sleep and doing all my work right now, but in fact, there is a chance that the words, unseen words, will reveal themselves to me by moonlight. For example, and he goes on and on and on.
While he's talking, I feel like I'm standing behind him and I'm going to take out the like suffering knife and mime cutting my own.
Oh, nice. That's amazing. Oh, shit.
So you're currently in segment C3 or B3, and we know what's in C4, we know what's in A4, we know that a mercenary company is in B5, and we have the tower down below. That's where Carl, the boy that you rescued, who is also with you right now, Carl explained to you that the tower in the south is where the children were taken to. The current abductees are at.
I think we
And
had
that's
originally agreed to go see the witch lady because that was my thing, and then Parda and I were going to go north. I feel like we've interacted with her.
Yeah, I think there's not much else to do with her, to be honest. I think that's pretty well tapped out.
Was like real excited about going north, if I remember correctly. So
that's where Duke Carmen Rott is currently staying in order to visit his brother, who is Duke Schwartz. Duke Schwartz is in the South Tower. And Duke Schwartz is so enamored to see his brother, he's hired a group of mercenaries to watch the front door. And so that is the situation between the two of them. You also have the woodcutters as well. You'll recall that it was probably a red herring, the woodcutters kidnapping the children to make them into spiritual torchbearers for Saint Ara, who was upset with them. But nevertheless, you can go there. So what are we doing?
Parda will advocate for going north.
To the home of Duke Carmen Rott.
I'll agree, but not before throwing like a little barb at Parda that the last time he wanted us to go in a direction, it didn't really work out that well.
He'll just tilt his head and say, we found some of the children.
we're going to see this Duke.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Doom will grumble about titles being meaningless and not understanding the hierarchies of humans and like it's just like, yeah, I think he grumbles like he's heard other people grumble and uses his mimicry to like, so it sounds like a weird gaggle of people all kind of grumbling about not wanting to do this but doing it anyway, and yeah, Doom follows along. Just saying, someone needs to say this. We could leave now. We could leave this shithole behind us, and we could leave now.
Macero may be intending to meet us to the north.
I don't know. I think he's dead personally. I think those creepy children got him. But I mean, Wodoom's not wrong. We found some children.
Pardo will just keep walking and say, then go.
It is not far to Duke Carmenrot's tower in the north. Less than a quarter of a mile from where you're at. It's nighttime, and there is a gate that leads to a courtyard that then leads to the sort of villa where Duke Carmenrot is. The gate is manned by two guards who are barely managing to keep their eyes open, but they're there. And there's also the wall to the courtyard could be scaled if you had to. It's high, but not unscalable. Yeah, so Parda, you're there. What do you do? And did the others follow along?
Yeah, I'm following along like a frustrated little sibling who just like doesn't want, like wants to be gone for like, you know, this is not Judd saying we should leave. This is definitely Wodoom being like, fucking Parda.
So Parda, what do you do?
He'll approach the guards and say, we've come on behalf of the town to discuss the situation with Duke. The other one.
Carmenrot.
The brother Schwartz.
The brothers Schwartz. They look at each other and they say, is this not the sort of thing that can wait until the household is awake? It's the middle of the night.
Pardo will just tilt his head and look at him.
And they'll kind of like mutter to each other. Let's say, one moment. And one of them goes inside the gate, goes across the courtyard into the villa. And the other one stands out there and waits. And he says, are you a associate of Duke Schwartz?
No.
Good. Duke Carmenrot has very little love for his brother, Duke Schwartz. Very little love. Calls him a blackguard.
Tragic.
I don't have much of a relationship with my brother either, but that's because he drowned in the river when we were boys.
That is a good reason.
Who are your friends?
This is Wodoom, and Kiva accompanies me, but we are not friends.
He's like, good. I had a friend once when I was a kid.
Did he drown in the river?
Yeah.
Tragic.
How did you know he was your friend?
Well, he made cries of distress that even through the terror of knowing he was about to be pulled under, beneath it, I could sense a genuine kinship between us.
While you were drowning him.
No. I wasn't drowning him.
I mean, I just think it's really suspicious that your one friend and your one brother both drowned, and you don't really seem to.
Oh, my sister as well.
Right.
There we are. The other man comes back. And he says, Duke Carmenrot will see you. Come in. And they open the gate. And you are invited inside. They say, we have to check you for weapons, sorry. They're going to take your weapons from you. Are you all okay with that? Or are you going to try to hide something?
I think I
Well, Doom's already been like apparently weapons, so might be okay.
yeah, I think he wraps his around him as if they're part of his workings. And yeah.
Parda will hand over the crossbow and the hatchet, but he's holding some bolts.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like I have my surgical blade, which would be in like my doctor's bag, so I'm hoping that we can get that by like
Yeah, they probably won't.
my
Yeah.
doctor. And then I stuffed my other one down my pants, so hopefully I'm trying to hide that one.
You can get in. These two are not the most like studious or diligent of guards.
Parda will ask the other guard, are there any rivers nearby?
He the other guard looks at you. It kind of gives you like a funny quizzical look, and then he says, oh yeah, sad his mother drowning in a river like that, huh?
Yes, stay away from rivers.
You all are ushered into the great hall of this villa, and there are not really many lamps lit because it is pretty late, but there are a couple of candles lit, so you can kind of make your way, and you're led into a room, a dining room of sorts with a long table, and a man, quite a big, stout man wearing puffy velvet, sleeve shirt and a goatee and mustache that seems weirdly tiny on his face, and balding. He sees you and he says, and he's wearing a long, he's got his little puffy sleeve shirt and all that stuff, and he's kind of got like a well, I'll just leave that detail. And he says, I am led to believe that you have some sort of intelligence about my brother, the Duke Schwartz.
We believe he is abducting children from the village.
He says, yes, I could see it. He is currently facing some outside pressure, and he's probably kidnapping these children in the hopes that he can use them as a bargaining chip with me. But let me assure you, it will not work. I care not how many of those children die, so long as he is brought to justice.
Did you know that your guard is a murderer?
He says, a murderer? Surely
Yeah.
not. Surely not.
100%. That guy killed his whole family.
Are you talking about the river incident?
You people are weird.
Now, do you have some sort of information about the Sparrows, which is the mercenary group, or otherwise how to draw him out? You speak quickly. I am trying to enjoy a holiday while I bring my brother to justice.
It could probably be bought.
Oh, that is interesting. So then perhaps my brother is not paying them well, or he treats them poorly. No surprise.
They probably do not want to be guarding a tower full of children. That can't be a good, rewarding use of their time.
Is Carl with you right now?
I think we lost Carl with.
I feel like we probably left him with Nemrak.
You can live with Nemrak, that's fine.
Yeah. I think those were the two that had a link.
Yeah. You can live with Nemrak, that's fine.
Yeah.
So maybe Carl will wait to see if Massaro turns back up, right? So yeah, he says, well, whatever the reason, that is good to know. I am willing to use peaceful methods to make them stand down. Perhaps you yourselves could deliver my offering, since you're here.
Sure. If you give us 5 gold, we'll take 1 for ourselves and give the rest to the mercenaries.
Very good, very good. And he will summon someone to produce a chest of silver equal to 5 gold. And he says, that is quite a lot of money. Are you sure they won't take a little less, even.
We'd want to be sure that we bought them so that your brother can't outbid.
Ah, very good, very good. Then you will bring back my change then.
Of course.
Do you know Winifred?
He looks at you and says, that name is known to me, yes.
She is paying me to allege you are involved in this abduction.
Winifred is my dear sister, tragically not drowned in a river when we were children.
We will not be bringing back your change.
Oh, I see the game you are playing now. Double cross. I like you. I don't even know your name. No matter. I don't care to know. If you try to abscond with my money, if you try to double cross me, know that I will hunt you to the ends of the earth.
Parda will tilt his head and say, I hope you enjoy a challenge.
I hope I will not need it. I will not need to meet that challenge. What does a mannequin even do with money?
Buy essential oils for my wood.
Intriguing, very intriguing. All right then, so we are joined at the hip, it would seem, in our attempts to open the way to my brother's tower.
We will send the mercenaries to you when we've paid them. Or should we just send them away?
Well, I think you should send them over here. I mean, my money should get more than just a mere vacating of the premises. I should get some services in exchange. Wouldn't that be delicious if my brother's brilliant plan of hiring a mercenary company was turned on him?
Not for the first time, Woe Doom is grateful that he's made of wood, so he doesn't have to pretend to smile at this bullshit.
Now, if you don't mind, I need to go back to bed. Be gone, ye creatures of the night.
Parda just turns and walks out.
Yeah, I think Woad is like carrying the chest because it's probably heavy and a little awkward, and I think strength is one of their things.
I think we should probably discuss the fact that Parda had this side deal with Winifred and didn't tell the two of you, which is interesting. And also that Parda has apparently betrayed Winifred.
I
Just
feel
have
like
that, just have that scene in the
walking
courtyard.
around in a state of confusion. Like,
Yeah, I think when we get like a bit away from the Duke's place, Woe Doom stops and drops the coin and says, "Why aren't we leaving now?"
We were hired to find the children.
we found some children.
They are
We have some money.
a pile of black goo currently.
That's fine. We still found some, we've got money. Stuff is happening. And there are a lot of secrets, okay? There's a lot of secrets, and we all have secrets. And the longer that we're together, the more things are getting weird.
If we get the mercenaries away from the tower so we can go in and free the children, your honor will be satisfied, Pardo?
Yes.
All right. When we're on the wood line, where the mercenaries can't quite see us yet.
Well, remember, this is a clear-cut region.
Oh,
It's actually quite
right.
exposed.
Doesn't have to be though. What if I suddenly repopulated it?
Oh, do you have a relevant ritual?
I have germinate.
Oh, there
Compound
you go.
plants for curious growth. Could make a fun distraction and give us some cover.
I kind of like it. So what's the plan here?
Why don't we tell the mercenary captain about the deal we made with the with Schwartz? Let him know that his mercenaries can walk right in, kill him, and bring his head to his brother right now.
Or the deal you made with Carmen Rot, kill Schwartz.
With Carmen Rot. Yeah, with Carmen. Yes. Yes.
And bring Schwartz's head. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Or the other way around, like whichever way they're going. And of course, we can give them the 2 gold he gave us to give them. But just as like a bonus, but I think we want to get them out of here. So I would like to send him to the other guy and be like, hey, you can go walk in right now, kill him. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, clear the tower so we can just collect the children and then leave.
Indeed. Okay, so if you are seen approaching the mercenary camp, you will be challenged right away. I'm not sure if stealth is necessary here. If you explain yourself, you might be able to talk your way out of the situation. But what's your approach as you're approaching? You'll see the camp pretty quickly. Like I said, this is all very close to each other.
We did get our weapons back, right?
You did, yes. The camp is mostly asleep, but you can see in the distance, because it is quite clear cut. You can still see sort of like the embers of dying fires, in the camp. If you had to guess, you'd say there's probably at least 50 or 60 men there, or 50 or 60 mercenaries.
Yeah. I mean, I think Wodoom is very tempted to just walk up to them if everybody else is good with that.
Yep.
You'll be challenged straight away, and by a guard, by 2 guards, both, and one of whom has crossbows trained on you. One of them has crossbow trained on you, and says, "Who are you? State your business."
I'm just gonna stand there and gesture because again, I'm like wearing a plague doctor mask and I'm carrying a doctor's bag and I feel like it's pretty obvious.
And he'll say,
what my shtick is.
"We have not heard of any need for doctors or tending to."
The captain of your company will want to talk to us so that we can tell him of a profitable and easy way out of this terrible job that you are currently embroiled in. If you all hate this town half as much as we do, you will want us to talk to your captain.
That'll definitely get like enough for them to get the captain out there. And here, I think this is going to be a risk roll to just convince the captain to either, like, what are the stakes here? Are you trying to get them to go in and grab Schwartz themselves, which they'll do, or are you trying to just get them to leave or go to do Carmen Rot or what?
Yeah, I think my sense is to try to get them to go to Carmen Rot and grab him.
Oh, grab Carmen Rot.
Yeah, the guy we just talked to was Carmen Rot, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so like I mean, Wodoom lies and says, I have a wax cylinder recording device in my chest. And like, he like rotates one arm like it's a record player and like does his mimicry and like like imitates Carmen Rot and is like, oh, wouldn't it be great to just use my own brother's mercenaries against him and then kill them all when I'm done so I don't even have to pay them. I'm so clever.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, interesting. So then the stakes are you want to convince them to leave camp, take the money, leave the encampment, actually march on Carmen Rot. And
Right.
yeah, so the best defense is an offense in this case. That's interesting. Okay, does the group agree with this? This double cross?
Sorry if
Pardo
No, I
will
love
look
it.
at
Let's talk about
Wodum.
dice. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Part of what we're saying.
He'll look at Wodum, but just respect. Yep.
So let's talk about dice. What could go wrong here, Alicia, Ben?
Maybe this is too much, but maybe the brothers are working together all along, and this will really backfire.
Oh no.
It was all an attempt to draw out Winifred.
We're trying to talk to like the little captain of the mercenaries, right? Maybe
Yes.
the captain of the mercenaries is the brother. Like he's
Oh,
like
interesting. Yeah.
Oh,
in
nice.
disguise amongst his mercenaries.
No, that's interesting. That might be a good devil's bargain too. I think probably just they might just take your money and kill you, and then continue doing their job. So yeah, let's talk about dice. I think the way you described it, using your body especially, I really love that. You can take your first light die, no problem, for mimicry especially, and
Right.
devil's bargains. I really kind of like the idea of the brother being the captain, but yeah, I think that's a good one. I would second that as a devil's bargain if anybody wants interested. Any other thoughts?
Any other thoughts, Ben?
I'm not sure if this could be in our favor or not, but maybe the guards are just incredibly incompetent. Like, just they're terrible.
Oh, yeah. So like, I mean, that's good. Okay, yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah. I feel like there's momentum behind the brother being the captain, and it gets us another NPC kind of checked off of our list. I feel like we want to meet him if we're gonna stay in this shithole. So yeah, I like that. I'll go with that one.
Very good. Let's see how the dice go. I think just 2 light for now, so risk 2.
Okay. So risk 2 space 1. Is that okay?
Just risk 2 because there's no dark die.
Oh wow. Great.
Okay, you got 6 light. Awesome. Full success. You will succeed. They will take your payment and they will march on to Carmen Rot's villa. And fast forwarding a little bit, while they're all preparing to do this, while they're all getting ready to leave, the captain of the guard says to all of you, speak it true. This is all Winifred's plan, isn't it?
Parda's going to look at Wodum, who took lead on this lying to the guard thing.
I think Wodum like leans into Parda and Kiva and says, "Oh, is Winifred a woman? I don't understand gender at all."
He says, Winifred is my sister.
Right.
I understand her plan well. She intends for my brother and I to kill each other so that she can inherit the duchy.
No, you're really imagining that. She is cunning, but not that cunning.
She is also our contact in the town who will pay us.
My, look at you. Hands in so many pies. Well, they're taking the money and he says, he's kind of got the money and he says, How much money did you have to end up giving them? Probably, like, ultimately, you got to keep one for yourself. That was guaranteed from the payment.
I think it was 4, right? If we're
4 was what was after your payment. He might settle for 3 though.
okay.
So you can have it. So you both have. So you have 2 basically you've earned from this. He's actually like, after everyone's getting ready to march out, you notice him with the money, and he's like putting on a traveling cloak, and he says, "I shall be at Butcher's Bay on the next ship out of here. Let them all die at my brother's hands. Let Winifred continue the scrabble. I'm going to take this windfall and count my lucky stars."
And the children?
He says, "Oh, the children. They're in there. I took them hoping that they might be leverage with my brother. Then I remembered that he is quite a callous man. I had some help grabbing the children, and that help might not appreciate you retrieving them."
What sort of help?
Smiles and says, "How much more silver do you have on you, friend?"
If you tell us, we will take you on our next treasure hunting expedition.
I cannot. I do not wish to make my money going into the dark and forgotten places of the world when there are so many more safer and indeed lucrative ways to get by.
I
bid you adieu.
I think I would like to threaten him actually before he leaves to give us the information.
How's
They have a
that?
crazy idea.
Okay, what is the crazy idea?
I feel like I'm going to like pull up a sleeve, and on my forearm has started to form a tattoo of the Saint Evelyn murder cult.
Okay.
And I'm just going to be like, I think it's best that you tell us what awaits for us.
Oh, very interesting. I like it. I don't need a roll. He says, "My landlord in that tower I was hiding out in has a very specific belief that the essence of those children will help him escape his unlife."
Are they as of yet unharmed?
I couldn't say, though they've been getting quieter and quieter as the days go by.
And will your landlord appreciate that you've sold him out to us?
I doubt it, but I will be on a ship sailing away to another continent, Nagane perhaps. They like good Kalduri silver over there. The creature is very powerful, has indeed achieved a certain mastery over life and death. I don't recommend a face-to-face encounter, or face-to-face, that's an ironic way of putting it. And then he leaves.
As he starts to walk away, Wodoom leans his shadow towards him, puts a stake in his shadow.
You're gonna keep him there? He's no danger, so I'm not
Yeah.
gonna make you roll a risk roll.
Oh, cool.
And he says, "What is the meaning of this? This deception. Let me go."
No. And I walk over to the tower and knock and say, I have a meal for you. It's big. It's juicy. You can have the blood and we'll have his gold.
Indeed, indeed. Let's take 5. We'll come back into the last hour.
Yes.
And it rose from the desolate midland, a finger of death, a tower darkly. No one responds, Ward Doom, but the front door is open. It is a grand entryway. This ground floor of the tower, a foyer festooned with stolen banners and sundered shields. There are a pair of large double doors directly across from this foyer entry. As I paint the scene, looking at the crests and the banners, maybe even tapestries hanging on the wall, how can you tell that they are from a time long ago? Everyone answers.
Some of them look like perhaps reconstructed versions of broken pieces from the way station.
One of them is clearly the witch's old mannequin posse. It's a porcelain mask on a red field. It's a white porcelain mask on a red field with like a silver scalpel knife behind it, just like the knife that Kiva now has. Maybe 2 of them crossed behind it, kind of almost pirate style.
I think one of them is, the text is written in the runes that Nemrak is waiting to see.
If only Nimrak had come to the tower. Good. We have a set goal for the whole tower. Learn the fate of the children of Rasten. And Woad, since you took the lead here, you're standing in the doorway, you see another doorway across from this foyer area. You have enough moonlight to see a few things that have been described here, but a torch would probably do you well, or a lantern.
Yeah, I think my hips stay forward, but then my top body swivels around to Kiva and Parda. And I think I kind of give a shrug, like, you want to do this?
Parda will just slip his mask back on.
And so
I think he wants to say one thing before we walk into the named tower of this whole thing. I think he puts his awkward metal clamp hands on both of their shoulders and says, I would like to go in as friends. We all come back.
Yeah, I'll reach up and like touch the hand that you put on my shoulder and say, friends. And then I'm going to turn to Parda and say, I promise not to cut you with the suffering knife.
That seems like a friendly thing. Wodoom says, having never had a friend. Sort of. The wolf, well, maybe.
Parda just kind of tilts his head and says, friendly enough.
in you go.
Yeah.
Very good. And so what do you do? I assume we have a lit torch.
I think I had a torch for when we were in the lair, so I feel like we can just use the same
Yeah,
torch
that's fine.
probably.
Yeah, not that much time has passed, so.
With that much guard presence out front, maybe he wouldn't have felt to like keep the children in a dungeon. So not going to immediately go for the stairs down.
I don't think there are any stairs down.
Even better.
There are not. There's just the doors at the end of this entry hall.
Well, then I will stride forward, which with much confidence, and I want to imagine that they're double doors, and I will just fling them open.
You get halfway when the tiles in the floor give out beneath your feet, crumbling beneath your feet. They're going to drop you into a pit unless you succeed at a risk roll. Stakes are straightforward here. Do you have a relevant skill? Bearing in mind you don't have a whole lot of time to react.
Maybe make a case for layers like I would have expected.
You'd have expected such a thing. I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. Got one
And-
light die, devil's bargains.
Can I help with the chain? Like fling the chain out to her?
Yeah, you there is a help roll. As long as Alicia's initial roll has a dark die, which it will,
Okay.
you'll be able to help if it's needed. So,
Okay,
but yeah,
great.
I love that. That's great. So, devil's bargains. Anybody have a devil's bargain here?
There is, as you're falling, you remember that there is a ritual in order to become a witch of the saint that you are becoming a cult member of, in which you fall into a pit and are reborn.
Oh, interesting. So this might be divine intervention.
Right.
Ordained. Intriguing. I like it. My offer is, I'll keep it simple. Just you drop something down in the pit.
I don't have anything that could beat Judd's.
Two
Well, then-
options.
I want to be reborn as a witch. Obviously.
I mean, you might survive and not fall down the pit, but you might want to willingly drop down the pit. I don't
Yes.
know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Especially after I describe it. But let's talk about dice. You got 2 light, and I think you have to do a dark automatically because of the inherent nature of the roll. So go ahead and roll risk 2-1. That is a 5 dark. Your current ruin is a very good 2, so you're going up to 3 ruin. But you will manage to avoid the pit. And I think the ruin is coming from not to get too meta here, but I think the ruin is coming from you basically kind of pull your ankle a little bit as you sort of like dodge back out. Take that as a condition as well. Pulled muscle. But your ruin has gone up. But you managed to dodge out of the way. The tiles collapse down. I will tell you, you can't see what it is, but at the bottom of the pit, there is a green glow. A very bright green glow. And as per the devil's bargain, you're remembering the method by which you are baptized into the service of Saint Evelyn the White. She would baptize her followers in glowing fonts, pristine white glowing fonts. They glowed white, not green, but a glow is a glow. What do you do?
So I feel like I'm kind of like hanging there a little bit, and I have that ability to like pull myself up or like let myself go. And that tattoo, which who knows how it started to show, is like as my sleeve is slipped down, is there, and I look at it and I look at my friends and I'm like,
Well, I do want to interject briefly and say that because Woad Doom helped, and because you didn't get a 6, Woad, you could roll a help die. And if you get a 6, the result is 6 instead of a 5, which means there's no condition that comes with there's no condition, and there's no I don't think you get a ruin increase either, because it's your light die, not the dark die. So it would be a lot better for Kiva if you still want to do that. But
if Kiva's if Alicia is cool with it, I'm cool with
Alicia
it.
has to agree. But bear in mind, if you get a 5 on your help die, then your ruin goes up.
Got it. I'm down with that.
Are you cool, Alicia, with the help?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so then roll just to get the die, roll /weak. Okay, so it was a 2, doesn't help on the dice at least, but in the fiction it can. So yeah, give us a scene. So how were you helping, or what happened there?
Yeah, I think he, Woad, they, slung their chain at Akiva to try to give her something to grab onto.
Yeah, and so keep it going, Kiva. You're hanging there, and then
I'm hanging there. Now I'm also holding on to Woad. So I'm gonna look at Woad and I'm gonna say, friends, like a question.
Yes.
And I'm gonna fall when I'm gonna pull Woad down with me.
Oh no! Woad, what do you do when you realize what's happening?
I'm confused about friendship.
Parda, we'll check in with the two of you in a moment. Parda, you've watched all this take place. It was a matter of seconds. What are you doing right now? Also, the torch went with them, so you're in the dark.
Then I think he'll tap his scent ritual again.
I'll let you I
navigate.
don't need a roll. You could just be doing that. And so what are you doing?
He'll kind of curse under his breath as he stares down, and then he's going to circle the hole and try and get past and look for maybe a safe way down. He has no rope or anything.
It's just a straight, smooth-sided shaft. You did hear a splash pretty quickly after they went down, so I don't think it's too deep.
No, he's not going to jump.
Okay. You might have rope in your additional equipment, possibly.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Then, he'll tie rope off and try to belay himself down.
You appear to be muted, Jason.
Oh, thanks. I'm just checking to see where the next space that this goes to. Ah, very good. So you land into a pit of thick, glowing green ooze. The glow from the green ooze illuminates the space nicely. There is a sarcophagus floating in the middle of the chamber. And there is a miasma in the air. This miasma, which is also sort of glowing green like the ooze, this miasma is working its way into every part of your body. Woad, you're okay because you're not a person in that way. But Kiva, this is a problem for you. The miasma is essentially trying to change you into the ooze. What do you do?
And the miasma is just all around us, right?
Yes.
Mm. Mm. You know what? Maybe it's time to germinate and like ritual us back up out of the hole. Plants.
Very, very good, very good. That's a risk roll for sure. While that's happening, Woad, you're okay. You're just in this green ooze. You see the sarcophagus. What are you doing?
Shit, I feel like I'm really overusing that chain. I've got to have something else.
You
I
have a
don't think I
whole-
have much.
You can like click on the drop downs for the 3
Yeah,
slots.
yeah, I see it. I see it. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm. I think Woad is going to try to like look at the hinges on the sarcophagus and see if he can jam the like if they is it just a stone that like comes off, you know,
It
or is
slides
it
off.
like yeah, it just slides off. All right, then I'm going to continue to use the damn chain. I'm not going to use my pliers. I'm going to wrap the chain around it so that whatever it is can't get out while we're
Oh, I
fucking
see.
around in here.
Oh, very good. That feels like a risk roll. What Kiva is attempting is a risk roll. Parda, you can just, since you're not any, well, Parda, your situation is a little complicated as well. While you're getting the rope sorted out, you will notice coming from the shadows near the door, double doors that led deeper into this level of the tower, there are a pair of, they look like they used to probably be soldiers or guards. Their tattered raiment is suggestive of the stuff hanging on the walls, like they're from another time. But their eyes are like, it's like their eyelids have wasted away. So they're just like two big, wide eyes in each of their sockets. And the flesh around their bones is thin. And they are just chattering their teeth. And they carry spears. And they are lurching toward you. You can hear the scrape of the spears along the ground. You're going to have to contend with them before you can do anything. It is a combat of just 7 because they're so bedraggled. But please describe how you're vulnerable.
Two on one. He can only do so much by himself.
Indeed, roll a weak point. Weak point is 4. And obviously in the first round, you can't defeat them because they're a 7 and you can only roll up to 6, but nevertheless, roll a combat 1.
A 6.
A 6 is not enough, but please describe the first round of the combat. What's happening?
I think he manages to he's tied the rope off at somewhere, and as one rushes at him with the spear, he manages to kind of bring the rope up and guide the spear away from him, and then push the two of them together.
Nice. Let's have a combat 2. Looking for 7. Hey, 6 and 1. Exactly what you needed, and no 4s. Describe defeating them, please.
As they are kind of bundled together, he grabs his hatchet off of his belt and just 2 quick chops, and their easily detachable heads are easily detached.
let's go to Woad and securing the sarcophagus. I will tell you there's just one fail condition here, which is the thing in the sarcophagus gets loose and you have to deal with it. Do please, everyone, or let's please talk about your, well, I think the chains are enough to get the first lie die. Everyone, do we have any devil's bargains here? Something that will happen no matter what, whether the sarcophagus is secured or not. I'm going to go with the hard option to see if your companions come up with anything better, which is there are numerous zombies in the ooze.
Whether it gets free or not, we see that it is an ancient form of a mannequin in the sarcophagus.
It's really good.
You monster. Nice part. Oof, Ben, you brought it. Damn.
I think that while you're doing this, you notice that there's maybe a grate and there are actually some children peering at you from the grate.
Oh, intriguing.
I've got to go with vampire mannequin. I mean, I can't say no to that.
Indeed. It would be a lich mannequin, but yes, we'll take it.
Yeah.
You get 2 light dice. Dark die is automatic because you're risking your mind or body. Your body for sure. Risk 2, 1, please. That is a 4 light high. Dark is not high, so you can re-roll if you wish. I am taking a variation on my offer, which is you will secure the sarcophagus, but the complication is going to be that numerous undead, maybe even undead mannequins, whatever that means, are rising up from the ooze. If you want to add a dark die to avoid that, you can add a dark die and re-roll the whole thing.
No, I will take that. I'll take it.
Give me the scene with securing sarcophagus. I'll take care of the rest.
Yeah, I think they secure it, but there's like a jolt, and I can see one of the porcelain masks that the witch described to me, but it has been kind of like chiseled into the shape of a skull instead of just like, you know, a shape of a porcelain mask. Like they've turned themselves into a lichikin. And I think, but I push it shut and close one of the clasps so it like the chain kind of wraps around itself. And there's a moment where, I think Woad affects a sigh like, woof.
Does this mean, by the way, does this mean you don't have a melee weapon anymore?
I think it means I don't have a melee weapon anymore. Yeah. And then looks up and yeah, there are zombies coming.
Yeah, so they are in fact, so I noted earlier that Woad is not subject to the miasma. Neither are these things in the ooze. It is a group from long ago, the porcelain masked mannequins of Saint Devil in the White rising up out of the ooze. They are just wooden bodies with porcelain masks, surprisingly well preserved. They rise up and they are carrying versions of the knife, but like cruder, crueler, more jagged, curved, larger.
Yeah.
But with the same pommels. They're rising up everywhere. I think we have a couple of ways to handle this. So Kiva, I'm going to give you your ritual for sure, but you have to endure at least one combat round. Alternatively, Parda, you can be there in the second combat round if you want to fight them. Otherwise, we'll switch to the risk roll for Kiva to escape using the plants.
If the plants don't work, he'll be there.
It's an endurance 9. You have to go at least one round. Woad does not have a melee weapon. It's just you, Kiva.
Weird question. Can I use my token to grab a melee weapon out of the miasma that is worth 1 gold?
Oh, yeah, I like that. You can spend a token to do that. Yeah, sure.
Okay. And I think Woad reaches in and grabs like a broken arm, and it has one of those knives that you just like, knife / short sword that you just described, and Woad takes it off of that arm and realizes that they've never used anything like that before.
It's a little grim, but I'm into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so each of you
Could
describe.
Prada be far enough down to use his crossbow, like wrap
Not
himself
quite.
up in the dark? No,
Not
okay.
quite yet. I think if you want to hang there in the second round, you can do that though. If they take it that far, it could just be if you just hold them off for a little bit, then Kiva can do the ritual. So, but let's have holding them off. How are you both exposed? And roll your weak point.
I am exposed because they have my knife and they're clearly these things. And I think that obviously this is what I needed to do to be reborn as part of this. So there's like, I think a part of me, my weak point is that I'm not fully committed to this.
Yeah, I think you might actually be like into it, right? Yeah. Which I think to the point where I think you should probably have a condition to reflect it, to be honest. Like something like the condition could be called like Saint Evelyn's baptism or something like that. I love it. What's your weak point?
I think Woad has gone a long ways on having a really weird weapon that people either didn't see coming or just didn't like. Flexible weapons are weird and they don't really follow the rules. And I think they're not used to having something where it's like, oh my goodness, I'm actually gonna have to mind my footwork and fence someone. And I'm not sure they're ready.
In green news, in green news, it's like waist high.
Yeah. So I guess
weak point. And just to check in, Kiva has a 6 on weak point.
Oh yeah, weak point. Shit.
And a 5. Those are 2 very poor weak points. Let's have a combat 2. Take it away, Kiva. Combat 2. A 3 and a 1 is not enough to defeat them, but also they do not hurt you either. Let's just have a little bit of combat. You're just holding them off anyway, so that Kiva can do the ritual. Kiva, you can start off as they close in on you.
I'm gonna pick out. Is there one that looks like the weakest?
Sure.
Like it might be suffering, if you will.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And then I'm gonna like slash its throat because I feel like this is what I need to do to be reborn.
Thing is, they're mannequins though. They don't have like blood and guts and stuff, right? So I think like you have to.
I feel like it's more of a ritualistic thing, not like not like an actual thing.
Keep the fight going, Woad. In particular, Woad, you're keeping the area clear so Kiva can perform her ritual.
Yeah, I think Woad tries to fight like a human and gets frustrated and then just starts spinning. Spins on their kind of hip hinge and just kind of whirlwinds.
They are, as they're getting close to you and getting knocked back, they're trying to say something to you, Woad, but it's in Old Kaldori, so you don't understand it. But they're trying to like say something to you.
Oh, that's killing.
Kiva, the ritual. Unless you want to attempt a second round, now the part is here. It's up to you. You'll have 4 dice, or actually you'll have Parta's ranged attack plus, and then 3 combat dice. If you want to try to actually beat them.
Issue is that I am being turned into ooze. Is that basically what's happening?
That's kind of what's at stake. Yeah.
But I don't know if the ooze feels like a bad thing. I feel like I don't want to be turned into ooze. So I am going to ritual myself out of there.
Very good. I think what could go wrong is I'll take other ideas from Judd and Ben, but I think you just like succumb to it all and you become a part of the pit. So yeah. Any other thoughts, Judd or Ben? What could go wrong here?
What's the actual name of the ritual? I don't.
Germinate.
Oh,
Rapid,
wow.
furious plant growth.
Yeah. I think you could knock off the chain and open the sarcophagus.
That would be bad. Yeah. A little too furious on that plant growth. Any
Maybe
additional
this
thoughts,
is a devil's bargain, but enough of the ooze has affected you that your drive will change.
Ben? Oh, that's interesting. Intriguing.
I was going to propose my own bad thing that could happen, which is that Parda's kind of in my way, and I could accidentally knock Parda into the ooze.
Yeah, that may happen as well. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so let's talk about dice. Do you have a relevant skill or piece of equipment for this ritual?
I'm skilled in herbs.
It feels like a stretch. I think you're just going for like whatever kind of fungus plant matter is down here. Maybe a piece of equipment that helps you bring the germination to life might be good.
What if we did it so I have my plague doctor mask, because I was thinking, what if it's kind of like a turning death into life situation, a little bit of like necromancy. So I'm used to like helping people on the brink of death. I know death, and I'm somehow able to shape that magic into growing
life. Oh, I like it. And that makes sense because like dead humans become like fertilizer, right? So yeah, I'm kind of into it. I like it as a sort of almost like a symbolic medium by which you work the magic. I think that's great. Okay, one light die. Devil's bargains. I do think Ben's suggestion is a pretty good devil's bargain. I also like Ben's. Was yours? Whose was knocking open the sarcophagus? Is that yours, Ben?
That was Jed.
me.
Oh, Jed. I like that as well as a devil's bargain. So if anybody wants to, if you want to offer those, by all means. But if not, I'm gonna offer sarcophagus gets knocked open. So.
I mean, I think one possibility is that we see what the what you grow is what the miasma is trying to become. Like this is all kind of like slimy pollen, and you grow something that
even worse.
Is even worse.
You might escape, but yeah, whatever's behind you is not good. Not good.
I think I'm gonna take Ben's my drive changes, that the miasma changes me in some way. And
Are you offering that as a devil's bargain, Ben?
I am, yes.
Okay, awesome.
That's cool.
2 light dice and 1 dark die for the ritual. Risk 2-1. Take it away. That is a 5 dark. If your ruin is below 5, it goes up. You succeed, but there is a complication. The complication is, what's the complication? The complication is you have to choose as a player who of your 2 companions is last to escape the pit.
Nice.
Oh, that's such a tough call.
Is
I
it?
don't. Well, I don't know if the ooze affects Parda or not, and I feel bad that I dragged you down here, Woad, so I don't want to leave you longer. But the smart choice, I guess, is to leave Woad, because he does not seem to, or they seem to not be affected by the goo and the miasma.
Please, for now, describe how your ritual goes and how initially you and Parda escape the shaft. What is it? Or well, Parda escapes the shaft and you escape the pit. What does it look like?
Right. Yeah, so I think I actually I try to root down. I put my hands like down into the ooze to like feel around for something. And I think there's a lot of decay in this region from like all of the stuff being knocked down and all of that stuff. And I just kind of like pull all of that energy into, I imagine there's like some seeds and roots and stuff that are kind of made their way underneath the tower. And so I'm just pulling all that decay energy and funneling it into something. And I mean, we can go for like a mushroomy kind of feel because I feel like that suits this. And it just kind of like causes this fungi explosion, and we're like riding it up on the top. And I basically just catch Parda on the way up back through the hole.
So it's just like a burst of like slimy green mushrooms bursting
Yeah.
out of that hole with the two of you clambering up to the top. I love that. You can clamber as well in a moment, Doom, but before you do, the chain has either through because of that or because of just like simple physics, the chain sort of has slipped off the sarcophagus. And you can hear a voice speaking to you from the sarcophagus. It is a voice that is speaking your language, but it's clearly like a second language for them because they're getting some of the words wrong. But they say from their half open sarcophagus, they say, my little brother, or sister, I suppose, my little descendant, I have learned enough of your language to speak to you now. Open the lid. Crawl inside with me and become one with centuries of knowledge. Learn who you really are. Learn how you can free your people. There is power. You have but to join me in order to take it.
Let my friends go with whatever children are left, and I will do this. I'm curious.
He says nothing vis-a-vis the children, but he does say, no harm will come to me from your friends.
No, I mean, I don't want you to harm my friends.
He agrees to that.
Okay.
He can't speak to the kids, though. He's conspicuously leaving that out.
Yeah, I think I gather up the chains as if like I'm getting everything together to go in, and then I open up I take off the lid and say, where are the children?
Laying in the sarcophagus is a figure that is half mannequin, half skeleton, bone fused with wood, a half cracked porcelain mask fused with jawbone.
Nice.
It says, I have had to make many sacrifices to stay in this world. Though I was not mannequin like you, I feel I have learned something of your nature.
Yeah, fuck this noise. I put the clamp.
He
of
beckons with his wooden hand and skeletal hand.
I get close, and then one clamp puts the manacle clamp around its spine, and then throws the other side to my friends up top so they can yank on this thing hard and do damage to it. And I guess that's how I start the fight if we're fighting. Or
you're not. You can just destroy
Okay.
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can just describe how you destroy it.
Yeah, I clamp the thing down and throw the chain up so that my friends up top can just kind of pull it apart.
Yeah. As he gets ripped apart and his various pieces are falling into the green ooze and sinking, he says, someone else will be along. Even if it takes centuries, someone will find me, and I will find a way to become one with them. And it just sinks into the ooze.
I think, yeah, I think he looks in the sarcophagus like, oh shit, is there any treasure in there? Is this?
There's not. The sarcophagus is empty, but
He kicks
you are,
it. They
you are
kick
able
it.
to, yeah, you are able to leave freely.
Okay.
And I think that feels like a good stopping point since we're going to meet for a part 3.
Okay, cool.
Let's that's good. I like it. Let's do stars and wishes as you all are pulling yourselves out of the hole and clambering up in a tower darkly. Stars, of course, are things you enjoyed. Scenes, encounters, bits of role play, something I did, something one of your fellow players did. Wishes are things you hope to see in the story next time. Whoever wants to go first, take it away.
I have a star for good old Doom and like the double cross, but particularly because you've been playing it like, I don't understand humans, and then do this like intense, like psychological nonsense. I really thought that was funny.
Cool. Thanks. I liked Ben's decision to have Parda just like let go of the sister thing. You were just like, no, I'm cashing out. I'm done. Like I like how you just kind of let go of that and walked away from that disastrous mess. That was cool. I feel like some people would have just hung on to it because it was like the first decent offer they got in the beginning of the game. And yeah, that was a good decision, a cool decision. Not a good, because there are all kinds of good, cool decisions, but I thought that was an interesting and surprising one.
I have a star for the moment of Kiva pulling Woad down into the glow beneath. That was just
That's
that was
certainly
a good, like,
that was good. Yeah, it was. I think it fit the character in the moment, and it definitely made that last sequence very very intense and fun.
Yeah,
it was a great like before the commercial break moment. Audio sting and then cut to black.
I did feel bad though that I didn't ask Judd first if he would be okay
Oh,
with
no.
that. So I ended up like afterwards.
It
being
was-
like, sorry, is that okay?
Well, I was going to give Judd a chance to resist it if
No.
Woad resisted.
It was fine. And you direct messaged me, Alicia, and then I guess Zoom gave me the option to direct message you back, but I didn't understand that. So I was looking at it and I was like, have I been like creepily whispering to Alicia with every message I've made all game? And like, she's like, why doesn't this guy talk to everyone? Why does he just send messages to me? And so I like undid the Alicia thing and just did to everyone. I'm like, I'm gonna have to explain to these people that I don't understand Zoom. And they're going to just be like, no, Judd's just a creepy asshole.
We got your messages.
Yeah. No,
I saw your song. I saw your child's song.
Yeah.
It's good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Okay, cool. So anyway,
no, but I was going to give
cool
give Woad a chance to do. We were going to do like a contest roll if Woad resisted, but I kind of like how Woad was just like, okay, this is what we do, I guess, and like went down into the hole. So.
I liked it as a misunderstanding of what friendship is. I thought that was cool, and I like
just
seeing what Kiva is becoming and like keeping the witch stuff alive. I think that's
been really fun.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun.
Yeah, I had a star for. I liked everyone kind of leading into danger. I liked I like that you're all kind of really sticking to this idea of being treasure hunters. Like that's really good. Like getting the money, I think is good. It's the primary motivator in this game, and it works fine. While also sort of like still keeping in touch with the characters' drives and kind of who they are and what makes them what they are. So it's a good like mix of their base sort of motivation plus the bigger drives and motivations, which I think is really great. So I'm enjoying that quite a lot.
And Jason, I like the way, I mean, there are a lot of the way you do paint the scenes is really cool, and I want to like watch these videos and look at it a little more carefully because I think it's really interesting. And the other thing that I felt like you did a lot this game is you like asked, like you said, I've got an idea, but I want to hear all yours first. You like gave space for us to set the tone, which was neat. I know that's, I don't know, it's not easy for me to do, and you know, when you feel like you got a rip roaring cool idea, it's hard to do. So it was neat. I think that's really a cool GM thing that you did. And that fucking monster was creepy. The children. Oh my god, that
Nadia
was
Bart.
so creepy.
Yeah, I had fun with Nadia Bart. That was really enjoyable. That part was not from Loom specifically. Well, Naughty Ebart was from Loom, but it's like not super well defined what Naughty Ebart is.
Okay.
So I kind of used the inspiration from Loom to kind of come up with this, combined with like everything that's taken place in the story so far, to sort of make this, and also because I'm playing a lot of Elden Ring right now, which features grafted people as a major like theme of motif of the game. So it's all been pretty fun. But and I also just finished writing something for Trophy Gold for Roots of Old Caldur, which is called The Orphan Pit, which I won't go into details about, but you could probably put 2 and 2 together. So nice. Based off where my headspace is right now. So, but I had a good time with that. I just enjoyed role playing a lot of the characters. I just enjoyed playing Carmenrot. I enjoyed playing the librarian. Even Schwartz, the cowardly Schwartz, was fun to play. So I kind of enjoyed all that.
I actually really liked that you just be like a little coward and run off with his money. I thought that was
he's written as a coward in the module. In the module, he's like cowardly, like he runs at the first opportunity. He's there to escape. Like he's basically there hiding out from his brother, and he's there to leave as soon as he can. So yeah.
Star, I've said this many times for the voices and sound effects, Jason.
Thank you. Any wishes? I do have one. My wish is I do want to know what the new drive is for Kiva. I think that'd be very fascinating. And a star as well for that Devil's Bargain. That was really clever. And I'm just curious, sort of, you're really, really close to being done. So I think next week we'll probably, we'll wrap up what's going on with kids and then probably do Hearthfire, and kind of call it a session. So it may not be a full length session next time. Because you're very close.
Cool.
Anything else? Any other stars or wishes? Okay.
My wish is for us all to continue to grow our friendship.
Yes, that was a very interesting moment. I was like, there was a moment where I was like, we're not playing 5e, but okay. and then I was like, no, it's good. We've built up to this. It's good. If you all started making out in the middle of the slime pit, then it would be 5e. Is
it me or is it all of you?
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, Judd. Yeah. But we're about done anyway. So I was just saying that, like, if you all had started making out in the ooze pit, it would be more like 5e, I guess.
Oh, got it. I heard you say this isn't 5e. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't want like I don't know what I think of as like Twitter D&D bard porn, but but I did want like, I don't know, some kind of camaraderie, even if it was like awkward and terrible and actually totally fake.
And I thought it was good. I thought it was good. Like the 3 characters could not be more like, I don't know, there's just like a seedy grimness to this group, and the setting too. Like the setting is really like seedy and grim, right?
Yeah.
It's a star for myself, I guess, but I was really enjoying I enjoyed the rando guard drowning everybody in his life.
That was great.
That was just fun to do.
I feel like at the end of this, no matter what happens, Kiva's thing is going to be going back and figuring out what the fuck is
what's going on with that guy.
We can use Wo Doom's wax thing to do our first mystery podcast.
Exactly. Yeah, do the world's very, very first true crime podcast in Trophy. Fantastic. Anything else before we go? Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.